So we will take a look at the slicer, how to use a slicer in Power BI. First of all, let's try to understand what is a slicer and the different types of slicers in today's session, and also we'll take a look at how to implement all those type of slicers. And first of all, what is a slicer? Slicer is also like a visual, like other visuals, like a table is a visual, matrix is a visual. Likewise, slicer is also a visual. The Power BI slices are canvas visual filters. It's a canvas, a visual filters. Slicer is essentially an alternative way in which you can filter your data in your report canvas. Supposing you share, let's assume that you are sharing a static report. When the users look at the static reports, one second. When the users, let's say you are sharing a report to your manager, it is a static report. So whatever the data that are there as part of the report, he can see it. By looking at that report, if he has some other question or if he wants to look at the data in different dimensions, he doesn't have any options. He is limited with whatever the report that you shared it with him only. Okay, so for example, you shared a report which covers North region sales, all the 4 regions sales summary, but he wants to see the breakup of each region. It is not possible, right? It is not possible. So if he wants to see the breakup, again he has to contact you. So you need to create separate reports for each regions. If you have 7 regions or 6 regions, for each region you have to create a separate report. So if you have in total 6 regions or 7 regions, 7 separate reports needs to be created. But with Slicer, you can enable the report users to filter the data as per their need, okay, as per their preferences. They can filter the data and they can see the filtered data as per their requirement. The slicer is nothing but interactive filters. It can be used to filter your reports, visuals. So visuals like a bar chart, a column chart, even your maps and tables, all the visuals. Okay, so there is only one slicer, but there are many topics in that slicer. Okay, there are many topics, but before we jump into the types of slicers, let us understand what are the flip side of, or what are the drawbacks of Power BI slicers. So Power BI slicers does not support drill down feature. Yesterday we have seen in matrix, when we dragged and dropped more than one column in the rows field and also in the column field, we were able to see that the drill down option got enabled, right? So you drill up, drill down, drill to the next level, that icon will get enabled. But in slicers, drill down option is not possible. Power BI does not provide support for input fields. So what do you mean by support for input fields? How many of you remember column from examples? Column from examples in Power Query Editor, we have seen column from examples, isn't it? So column from examples, look here, if you go to transform data, so using column from examples feature, we can enter the data, we can input the data. So the same way you cannot, so there is no input provision, okay? You cannot input anything in your slicer, okay? Look here, add column, you can see the column from examples, right? So I have shown you one example using this option, how we can split the values from a text column. You have a state and city column got concatenated. You want to split state separately and city separately. So in that case, I have shown you how to use column from examples, and also as part of the case study, how to convert multiple currency into single currency. In that case, how do we convert the date format with column from examples? It was pretty simple. Wherein we need to input the values. It allows us to input the values. Based on the values which we inputted, it learns the pattern and then it does the splitting automatically, or it changes the format of your column as per the data that you fed into that column. Similarly, you cannot do it in slicer. You cannot input any values to your slicers. There is no provision of pinning a slicer to a dashboard. This I will show you later. You cannot use visual level filters in slices of Power BI. Visual, what do you mean by visual level filter? So this is one visual. This is my chart, clustered column chart, right? What is this? This is also my clustered column chart, and this is my matrix visual. Okay, so here if I wanted to use a slicer to filter only a specific visual, that is not possible. For example, I'll show you how to create a slicer. This is my slicer. Okay, in the visualization file you can find this slicer here. If you click on it once, it will get dragged, it will get moved here. For example, I just want to create a slicer for category. I just drag and drop this one. So this is my slicer. So based on the selection which I make it, the entire visuals that are part of this report page will get updated, relevant to this. And for example, if I select only beverages related data got updated or refreshed automatically in all the visuals in this report. Forget about these three visuals. Okay, this is called card visual. Forget about this at this moment. Look at the other four visual. When I select dry fruits, so I selected two items. Look here, dry fruits, what is the sales, and what is the sales for beverages. Whatever the items that you select, for those items, all the visuals will get updated automatically with the relevant data. Okay, but if I wanted to apply this filter, this is nothing but a filter, right? Whatever the items that you selected, based on which it filters all the visuals. Filters in the sense, see, in my data set, I have the data for all the categories. I want to slice only these two. I want to see only the portion of my data set. I don't want to see all the categories sales performance. I just want to filter my data set to view only the beverages and dry fruits related data. So here we have category. You can see that here we have the product, right? So the beverages and dry fruits, what are the products are there in this category? So here it is a matrix visual, and here you can see the location, in which all location we sold products under these two categories. It does the filtering relevant to the selection whatever we made it in all the visuals in our report canvas. But you cannot filter is only to only one visual. It is not possible. Visual level filter is not possible. Okay, and Power BI slices do not support measures. What do you mean by measures? I have shown you how to create a measure in yesterday's session also, right? So if you select, for example, percentage margins, this is a measure. I created it already. Okay, this is a formula here, some formula, right? So this is a measure. You cannot use a measure in the slicer. Remember this. These are the drawbacks or limitations, we could say. Maybe in the future version of Power BI, they might come up with some other new features, or they might overcome these limitations. Next, we will take a look at the different types of slices these are the different types of slices that are available. So text slicer, numeric range slicer, relative date slices, relative time slices. Let me just, yeah, it's going on. So responsive resizable slices, hierarchy slices with multiple fields. So text slicer, as I've shown here, look here. So here, so we have seen how to create a slicer, right? So simply you need to click on this one, and then you need to drag and drop the column which you want to use it to filter your data in your page, report page. This is my report page. In this report page, I can have, n number of visuals. That, right? Just because you can have n number of visuals, you cannot create multiple visuals. It will be cluttered, right? So make sure that you are not going to clutter by creating so many visuals, right? So again, we will discuss about the design best practices later point in time, okay, in the next session at least, okay. So this is my text filter, okay. So here simply drag and drop this. Here if you see this, there is an icon like a eraser. For example, if I select beverages and dry fruits, so since I selected these two categories, the data in the other visuals got filtered relevant to this selection. If I wanted to clear this selection, click on this eraser icon. It will remove all the selections. Now it shows all the categories. So look here: dairy, beverages, dry fruits, frozen food, personal, all these things, all the category. So how do I clear these selections? Once you, for example, if I just redo it one more time, if I want to see the sales performance of beverages category alone, just select it. Sorry. Look here, only the beverages category got selected. So if you look at this visual, in this visual, under beverages category, we sell tea and coffee. This customer, they sell tea and coffee under beverages category. So this is a category, it shows only category name, but here the product name and category also displayed here. So here we get to see in beverages category how much we sold in coffee, how much money we made in coffee, how much money we made in the tea, right? So we can get to know the detailed information, product level sales performance. You can see it here. And if you don't want to make any, you want to see all the categories sales, so in that case you just click on this eraser icon. It will remove the selections whatever you made, and you can see this down arrow kind of thing, right? If you click on this, you have some options, display options. So by default it is a list. This is called your list format, okay. This is a list format. And if you click on this drop down, if you select drop down, look here, if you click on here, sorry, it will show all the things, okay. If you want to click on this, it will be hidden, okay. So basically the drop down option or the feature, it allows you to reduce the space in your report canvas. If you have to accommodate, let's say 5 or 6 visuals, right, in that kind of situation you need to have more space available here. So right, so this is very space friendly, okay. And the drop down, so it is up to you, again it depends on your requirement. Before, let's say if you once you get into a project, as part of this the design specifications, so they would have mentioned, so what is the list, and they will give you mock screen, okay, how the report should look like. They will give you the mock screen, so based on which you need to decide, okay. So but it is good always if you know what other format options are available. By default it is a list thing. Otherwise you can use drop down also, fine. So I just move on with, okay, here I just mistakenly selected frozen foods. How do I clear this? Click on this eraser icon, it will get cleared, okay, good. So I just go to the format tab here. Look here on the right side, you have something called format tab, right? Let me just choose something else. This is your format thing, and if you click on this icon, 1 second. If you click on this icon, you can see various formatting options: general, outline color, outline weight, and orientation vertical. So this is currently vertical orientation. If you want it horizontal, you can see, look here, it became like a button, and you can resize it. And if you select any specific category like dry fruits and beverages, I just selected these two categories. So now let us see what happens. All the visuals in this report got filtered for these two categories. Dry fruits and beverages got filtered in all the visuals in this report page. Okay, if you want to clear this, click on this eraser icon. So remember this orientation. Orientation is helpful. This is also kind of a space saving. Again, from the design point of view, the customer might ask you, I want something like this. The slicer should be something like a button kind of thing, right? So if they ask, you can have it something like that. And then you have something else like selection controls. For example, I just go back to the previous setting. Click on this. Here I just select list. Okay, instead of I'm going to set it back to the vertical orientation. Here what I'm going to do is, here multi-select, single select by default it is off, and multi-select with control is on. So if I want to select more than one item here, I need to hold the control key. Only then I can select more than one item in the slicer. You need to hold the control key. It is not much user friendly, right? So what I do is multi-select with control. I just click on it here, right? So just by toggling it to off now, so you don't have to hold the control key. Directly you can go to the slicer and select as many items as possible. Remember this, which one I selected it, show multi-select with control off. You need to disable this one. And let us see what other options are available. Rest of them you can give the background color and title. If you want to have the title, you can give it. So here it is not required, and lock aspect, border off, and if you want to on it, you can give on, and if you want to off, right? So we can do it like this. Okay, so these are the important thing: the orientation and the multi-select with control, right? It is not by default. It is, you need to hold your control key if you want to select more than one items in your slicer. But in general users, they don't prefer it, so hence I toggled it to off. Hence without holding the control key, I am allowed to select more than one items in this slicer. Now I just cleared this selection whatever I made, and next if I click on this here, you can see you have some other option called search here. Supposing you have multiple categories are there, so in that case you need to scroll down to search the category in order to make a selection of that specific category. So in that case the search is very much handy. So how do I get to this search? You just click on these three icons. This is called ellipse. When you click on this, you will find various options here. You just click on search and go and type. Let's see, if you scroll down here, yeah, so frozen personal care, right? So 1 second, just type it. So search is very much handy if you have more number of values are there in your categorical column. Look here, and then you select it, this one. I just want to view only the personal care. It's very difficult for me to scroll down and check the personal care. Instead, the search option enabled me to find out the item which I'm interested in this slicer. So with this I'm able to find out, and I'm going to select this one. I selected this one. Relevant to personal care, all the other visual data got refreshed automatically. And what other options are available? You can export the data. Okay, before that, let me just remove this one. You need to delete this, only then it will go off. Okay, and then if you click on this ellipse once again, export data. So when you click on export data, the data whatever is there in this one will get exported as CSV file. Okay, and the next one is show as a table. I don't want to export the data to an external file, but here itself you show it has a table data. Look here. So these are the table data. It takes you to the it's kind of a magnified view. So in the category column, these are the values are there. And if you want to go back to the canvas, click on this. It will take you back here. And next one is remove. You just want to remove. You don't need this slicer. You can click on this or simply delete it. You can use del key in your keyboard. It will get deleted. Spotlight is something like it will maximize your visual, or sorry, it will show only this visual, rest of the visual will get dimmed. Okay, that is what spotlight. And the next one is sort access. I'm going to disable this one now. All the other visual will get dimmed. So in the case of spotlight, so and here you want to sort the axis category. So want to sort it in descending order or ascending order. So now it is in alphabetic order, ascending order. If I want to display it in descending order, right, I can sort it that way also. It will take some time. You need to have a lot of, look here, personal care, frozen foods, dry fruits. It's that much simple. If you say I cannot understand, no one can help you. It's very simple concept. Okay, and so usually we we will live with the ascending option, right, ascending order. So click on this clear selection. So B, D, D, alphabetic order now, right? So if you want to sort it in any order, right, so you can find it here, the order. So ascending, descending, okay, on this category column, right? So you can do it this way. Fine. So hope you understood how to create a slicer, the text slicer, and what are the options that are available, how to clear these selections once you make as part of your slicer, right? So using this eraser icon, you can remove it. And for example, I selected beverages and dry fruits, and here on top of this visual we can see something like a filter icon. So is there any other filter or slicer, right, that is affecting this visual? Nothing. We don't see anything here. But so these are the visuals, right? These are the other. This is a slicer visual. Slicer itself a visual. This is my clustered column chart, and this is also my clustered column. This is my matrix. This is my clustered column chart. And each visual, on top of each visual, you will find this icon, the filter icon. Look here, when you hover the cursor here, the category is beverages or dry fruits. So this visual was affected by the selection whatever you made as part of this slicer. This is very much helpful in the real-time scenario. Okay, if you have multiple visuals, right, the same, let's say you have multiple pages, but in a single, for all the pages, you are using the slicer in only one page. For example, beverages and dry fruits I selected, I can see it. If I go to the next page also, right, it should filter the next page visuals based on the selection that I made it. Let us assume that way. So in that case, every time you have to come to this page and you need to check what values we selected here. Instead, you just go to the the second page, or if you are in a 10th page, just hover the cursor here, you will get to know, okay, this visual got affected by beverages or dry fruits. That's what we see, right? So similarly you can see it here. So on top of this visual we can see the drill down option, because we have hierarchical data here. Look here, in the axis product name and category is there, and the values we have separate field, and for axis we have separate field. The axis field we have two values, product name and category. So hence the drill down, it's a hierarchy. Okay, hence it creates it displays the drill down functionality here automatically. And what is this option? Focus mode. When you click on this, it will show it in the bigger size. Okay, supposing in your report canvas, see in this case 1 2 3 4 visuals are there, 4 5 6 7 visuals are there, and you have another visual is available. Because of the space constraint, the visual size, you cannot create a big visual size. And if you want to see the data or troubleshoot something like that, for example this size is, listen, I'm not able to see very clearly, so you can click on this focus mode. Look here, it's kind of a magnified view. Zoom, you want to zoom in, right? You can do zoom in, zoom out with this. Okay, so with this you can see the matrix visual with a bigger font size, right? And you can do drill down, drill up here also, right? So you can see it, so you can compare the values, you can see it everything in detail. We'll go back to report. So now we have explored all these icons, right? This is a focus mode, this is a filter, which values affected each visual. Just by hovering the cursor on top of this visual, filter visual, you will get to know that. Fine, so far we discussed about slicer, the text slicer. Next we will take a look at the numeric slicer. I'm going to click on this slicer once again. I just move this up, and here the month number is a numeric value. I just drag and drop this here. By default it is a list type, the slicer, but when it comes to numeric data type, right, by default the format of your slicer is between. It will display a slider just by sliding this, right, on your left side or right side. You can change the value automatically. Look here, so 3 8. Sometimes it is difficult, just by sliding this towards your right side or left side you may not be able to get the exact values. So in that case you just click on this field and type whatever things that you wanted, okay, the exact values you can type it. But this is very user friendly, the slider. Simply by sliding this you can set the between values, between 1 to 10 month, display the sales performance. Okay, and let us see what other less than or equal to option is available. Okay, so when we select less than or equal to, let us see what happens. See, the handle of this slider bar disappears, right? Disappeared. So now we can adjust only the upper bound limit. So this is disabled. Look here, the left side is disabled, and here we can upper bound limit on the slide bar. You can adjust only this one, right? So here if I say let's say 8. So what happens is, so less than or equal to 8. So here it tells us less than or equal to 8, which means so month is less than or equal to, display the sales performance for the month less than or equal to 8. That means between 1 to 8, greater than or equal to. When you click on the greater than or equal to, the slider bar handle. Now it disappeared. So now you can adjust the lower value. Look here, this one disappeared. Now you can adjust the, see, in the case of greater than or equal to, the right slide bar handle, right? So this disappeared, the right slide, right? So that got disappeared. Now we can adjust the lower value. Okay. So here you can say something like 8 or anything above 5 or above 5th month and above 5th month. You show me the sales performance. That is what you are greater than or equal to. Okay, you can say specify like this. So now you understood what is a list format when it comes to numeric slicer. So numeric type slicer, you have more options. Drop down we have already explored. So this is not the, not much helpful, though it is saving a lot of space in your report canvas. You need to keep scroll down, but you can use search to do that. So it is up to you. Okay, you can use drop down also. It saves a lot of space, and you can make a selection to any one of the months, right? Whichever months that you need it, you can select it here instead. So you can go and use less than or greater than. So usually the between is the one is used, that is the default one. Simply sliding the values between on the left side or right side, you can choose the desired value, the slider. Okay, even the slider is also the best option. It is not consuming too much of space here. So that is pretty much about the numeric slicer. Next we have something called relative date change slicer. One second, we have something else called relative date slicer, relative time slicer. So if I want to create a slicer for a date, how do I do that? Click on this slicer. Sorry, not this one. I mistakenly did this. You just click on the empty page of the canvas and then go here and click on the slicer. Fine. So now I want to create a slicer for date column. If I scroll down here in my fact sales, I have something called order date. If I drag and drop this, look here, even in the case of date data type, the default one is between. So you have various options available apart from this, but the slider option is the default one, which is nothing but the between option. Even in the numeric slicer and date slicer, the between is the default formatting option, and you can also change it based on your need. For example, if you click on the before 29/12, or it displays you the calendar also, before December 2021, show me the sales performance. So plain English, right? It's a very, pretty easier to interpret. So anything after, if you want to view anything after the December 1st 2021, you can use this one. Okay, and here I don't have data, that's why it disappeared. And we have list is the common one. In the case of date, you know very well, date has a lot of data in it. List is not at all the right option to choose, and drop down is also not much helpful. It is not user friendly. We have something called relative date. Okay, so relative date range slicer. So here last 1 days or last 1 month, last 1 week, last 1 year, last year's calendar, months calendar, right? Calendar months or calendar year, right? So you can specify last 1 year. If you want to see the sales performance, you can specify it here. So we can use this is called relative date slicer. It is just like any other slicer. Okay, so but in this case, you need to select a date value for this field value. Okay, That is the difference. And apart from this, we have relative time. No, I don't want to see the between dates. I want to see between minutes or hours. I want to see it between 10 to 11 a.m. What is the sales performance? Between 10 to 20 minutes, what is the heart rate? Right, so you have something like that. You want to see that minutes. So this is called a relative date. So that's why we call it relative date slicer, relative time slicer. At the time also, time level also, you can do the slicing. And we have something else called relative resizable slicer. So I'm going to go ahead with the default formatting option between. Okay, the slider. Okay, so with this slider, you can just slide it towards your left side and right side, so that based on the size that you slide it, right, so the date will get changed automatically. And if you think this is not the exact thing, then you can go and type the value automatically. Okay, when you click on it, automatically the calendar will display, and you can go and make a selections automatically, right? So for example, 29th September, I want to see it. Yeah, so the data will get refreshed automatically based on the filtering criteria. These are the filtering conditions, right? Based on the filtering conditions, all the visuals in your data in your report visual will get refreshed. So we have seen what is text slicer, what is numeric range slicer, the relative date slicer, relative date time slicers also I shown you, and the next one is the responsive resizable slicers. That is what we have seen it already. For example, I just copy paste it one more time. The same thing, I pressed Ctrl C and Ctrl V. I did it. I just move this down, and here what I do is, instead of this, I'm going to use another slicer, location. In the real-time scenario or in the real-time report, you will have multiple slicers, so that it will improve the user experience. They will have the flexibility to make changes in different dimensions, right? If they want to slice and dice with different dimensions, the category is a dimension, and here I'm going to select the location. Location is another dimension. If you want to view the data, based on the selections that you make it across the dimension, like category or location, or instead of location, what I do is I'll just select the product name. Okay, and here what I do is the category, I'm going to go ahead and general, I'm going to make it horizontal. This is kind of your responsive resizable slicer. Look here, you should be able to resize the slicers, right? So like button, or if you squeeze it, and it shows you this one, greater than sign, the scroll bar. If you click on it, it will show the rest of the categories. So overall we have 5 categories. Look here, you can scroll. So this is your responsive resizable slicers. And the next one is hierarchy slicers with multiple fields. Is it possible for me to create hierarchy with multiple fields in slicers? Yes, that is also possible in the latest version of Power BI. In the previous version there was some limitation, but here you can create hierarchy in a slicer itself. For example, I'm going to, instead of having two separate slicer for category and product name, I create another slicer wherein I specify the category name and product name. And then if I scroll down here, the product name. Instead of having 2 separate slicer, you can have it you can combine these 2 things here with hierarchy. Okay, so if you see here, You expand it here, the down arrow. It's in the beverages, coffee and tea. I want to see in the beverages category the coffee related sales alone, right? Look here, your report visual. So you can create hierarchy slices with multiple fields, and you can create the responsive resizable slicer. Okay, and then you can create a relative date slicer, relative time slicer, numeric range slicer. We explored all the different types of slices. Based on the design requirement, you need to determine the type of the display format also. Okay, between is the slider is the one we'll be using it more commonly, and right, so this is responsive slicer, right? In that kind of situations you can resize it instead of displaying the slicer in the vertical thing, right? You can orientation, you can choose the horizontal orientation. Okay, so this is pretty much about slicer. Okay, slicer. Next we will move ahead with filter in Power BI. There are 4 types of filters are available. One is visual level filter, the other one is page level filter, all pages, and drill through filter. We will explore each and every type of filter. So here we have used this slicer to filter the data across the visuals. So what I do is, instead of using slicer, I just click on this less than sign here. Just on the left side of your visualization you can find this one, filters. Look here, this is called your filter pane. If you click on this, it will get expanded. See, I just minimize this one because I want to see it in a bigger size. But if you click on this, the size will become small. Okay, anyhow, so now what I do is, for example, I am going to select this visual. When the moment when I selected this visual, just under the filters pane, we can see the column names that belong to this visual. So category and sales amount, these 2 columns that I have used it in this visual, I can apply the filter for category as well as the sales amount also. Look here, in this case, look here, I just selected this visual. This is very much important. Notice this, I selected this visual. That's the reason it got highlighted. The next step, what I do is, in the filters pane, when I look at this, the fields or the columns that were used in this visual got displayed here. Under this you can see all. So all the categories are selected here. All the sales amount got selected. Now I can apply the filter here manually. I just click on this one. When I click on this, there are 3 types of filter types: advanced filtering, basic filtering, and top end. By default, top filtering will be there. Look at here, I am going to select beverages and dairy, these 2 categories. And dry fruits also. Let us see what happens. Why dairy? Yeah, dairy and dry fruits. I selected beverages. Why it is not visible? Okay, here did I do anything? Okay, let me clear this category. Okay, here the moment when I selected this one, the basic filtering. So dairy and dry fruits and frozen foods also I am going to select it. Look here. So somewhere I selected it here. Okay, make sure that you are clearing all the slices once you are done with your job. Okay, so dairy, dry fruits, frozen foods, whatever the filters that I applied it in under this filters pane for the category column got affected for this visual only. That is the reason why we call this as a visual level filter. It affected only one visual. Not all the visuals got affected because of this, right? So only this visual got affected. And if I scroll down here, you can apply filter based on the sales amount also. Okay, here we have 0k, 5k and all is there. So less than the sales amount is less than 3000. If you want to filter it, and click on apply filter. Though we selected 3 categories, when I specify this filtering condition for the sales amount is less than 3000, dry fruits and frozen foods, under these 2 categories we sold less than 3000, hence it shows of the 3 it shows only these 2 categories. Okay, now you realized, I just did some kind of testing, but I don't need this filtering any longer. You can click on this eraser icon. It will remove the filter. It will remove this condition. And if you want to remove this condition here also, click on this eraser. So whatever the filter that I applied it, that got applied only to this one, not for all the visuals, right? All the other visuals. Whereas in the case of slicer, when I select beverages, all the visuals got updated relevant to beverages data. So I want to apply the filter to only one visual. That is possible only with filters pane. It is not possible with slicer. Remember this. This is very important. They'll ask you what are the types of filters in Power BI. Visual, you need to tell these 4. Okay, visual level filter, page level filter, all pages, drill through filter. They will ask you what is visual level filter. Select the visual which you want to filter it, and then go to the filters pane and then specify the filtering criteria for your columns that are part of your visual. Whatever filtering condition that you apply it, that will get affected only this selected visual, not other visuals. Fine. The next option is advanced filtering. So you have something called contains. Okay, contains, personal. You don't type the entire name, personal. The category which contains personal, and if you apply filter, you don't have to type the entire column name, column value, category value, right? Simply type the part of contains. And we have something called does not contain, starts with is not. If you want to exclude, does not contain personal care. For example, except personal care, rest of the categories I want to display it. So does not contain personal. Look here, except personal category, rest of them got displayed here. If you want to clear the filter, so that is what the advantage of advanced filtering. I am going to clear this now, and I am going to click on this now. So now you understood what is basic filtering, what is advanced filtering, and we have top 3 categories. Okay, so here show items top and top 3. Okay, so by value you need to specify it here. For this, what I am going to do is I am going to say by quantity or sales. So I am going to drag and drop the sales amount here. So if I want to see the top 3 categories, it asks me, right? So top 3 categories based on what? Based on sales amount, or based on quantity, or based on profit. You need to specify the the column, right? By value, right? You need to specify this column, sales amount. Based on the sales amount, you tell me the top 3 categories. Click on the apply filter. Dairy, personal care, and dry fruits. Of all the 5 categories, these 3 categories are falling in the top 3 quadrant. So top basic filtering, advanced filtering, top N is also available. And if you click on this here, bottom 3 also available. Top 3, bottom 3. Bottom 3 is poorly performing categories based on the sales amount. Okay, and let me do one thing. Okay, and here if I select bottom, okay, let me do one thing. Top 3, I forgot to note it down. Personal care, dry fruits, frozen foods. Dairy, personal care, dry fruits. And if I select the bottom 3, Dairy is the top 1, top 2, top 3, and apply filters. Bottom 3 is, see, personal care and dry fruits and frozen foods. So dairy was the top 1 and the bottom 1 is personal care and other things. We don't have much data here, so hence it shows like this. Bottom 3, right? We are which product, which categories we are not selling well. What are the top 2? Again, you can determine based on the sales amount, profitability or quantity, you can do it. But it requires some technical knowledge, right? So you need to go to the filters pane and the user should be knowing, they should have some knowledge on this one, right? So the Power BI knowledge, they should be knowing how to use these features, but these are all static, right? So once they explore it, see, with this they have more flexibility, they can analyze the data in any dimension. So I'm going to clear this thing, whatever I did it. So here what I'm going to do is write the basic filtering. I'm going to just select it. So I just cleared it, everything here. Okay, look here, everything got displayed here. See, first of all, we have only 4 categories, right? So 5 categories are there. Maybe because of space. Make sure that you cleared all these filters here. In the category we have 5: frozen foods and dry fruits and personal care and dairy and okay, 3, 4, 5, right? Why it shows only 4 here? Maybe somewhere here, right? So less than, yeah, so less than is less than. You need to make sure that you are clearing all the filters, otherwise it can cause, you know, these kind of confusions. Is less than, right? So now you understood how to do the filtering at the visual level, right? So you can apply the filtering conditions only to a specific visual, not for all the visuals. Here I just clear on this one. And you can hover the cursor here and see, you know, is there anything else is affecting this one. So in that kind of situation, right? So his month number is less than or equal to 10. Look here, the reason for, you know, right? So though we have 5 categories, it shows only 4 categories. I just went and cleared all the filters. Here also I cleared all the filters, but still it shows only 4. So in that kind of situation, this is very much helpful. Look here, it helps us to troubleshoot. Month number is less than or equal to 10. So we applied the filter on the month and order date also, right? So that is the reason. You clear this filter. You can clear this also. So in this case, that eraser is not visible. Click on this, resize it. When you resize it, you can find this one. You just click on this. Boom, we are able to get 5 categories. In total, we have 5 categories, 3, 4, 5. We are able to get this one. But due to some reasons, right, the 5 categories were not displayed. So how did I do the troubleshooting? You should be good at troubleshooting. You need to find out where the problem is, right? So this filter icon on top of each visual helps us to understand what columns that affects or what values that affects this, you know, each and every visual. With this, I'm able to understand not only category and product name affected this one, or not only the items that or what are the filters that applied it under the filters pane was not affected this one. You know, in addition to, you know, apart from all this, these 2 slicers affected this one. After clearing this selection here in this thing, now I'm able to see all the 5 categories. Hope you understood the advantage of this icon also, right? Okay, now let us look at the other aspect of this one. For example, if I select beverages, coffee, tea, these 2 products falls under beverages as per the data set what I have it. Since I know the data very well because I was the one created the data for this. When I selected beverages, look here, automatically the values in other slicer also got filtered. If you hover the cursor here, categories beverage, look here, this slicer got affected by category slicer. This is called cascading slicer. Cascading slicer, remember this. Slicer to slicer, if you want to filter it, we call the cascading slicer. Cascading or cascading slicer, they say it is a cascading slicer. See, the moment when I selected beverages category in this slicer, automatically the corresponding values or the corresponding products from this slicer got filtered, and also all the other visuals got updated relevant to beverages, coffee, tea. Look here, coffee, tea, because in this visual I have used quantity, cost, price, product name and category, 4 different columns, right? So the product name and category is also there, right? So the beverage, coffee, tea got filtered. So you don't have to select it here. If you select it here once, it will get cascaded to this slicer, which means this filter will get this filter will get affected by this. So this slicer gets affected by this slicer, and also other visuals also got filtered based on the selection that I made it here. So cascading the filter, propagating the filter to other slicer is also called as cascading slicer. Now let us see, if I click on the coffee, does it filters beverages automatically? The opposite, will check it out. I am going to click on this eraser icon. So now the values whatever I selected got cleared. When I select coffee, we know very well coffee and tea falls under beverages. When I click on coffee, this slicer should filter this one. Is that happening? Yes, it is happening. Superb, right? Why it is happening? Because here we will go to this thing here. Look here, we have a category table, dimension category, dimension product and fact sales. If you see the relationship between these two tables, product and fact sales, it's 1 to many, but the arrow, we can see the down arrow, which means the product ID from this product dimension flows down to your fact sales. Whereas if you look here, we have the bidirectional relationship. You can filter, you can use the category table to filter the product table, but if you want to filter, if you want to use your product table to filter the dimension category table, you need to have the bidirectional relationship. Look here, this is one way, right? Unidirection. This is also, the arrow is flowing down. So you can see the down arrow here, right? It's a down arrow. All the values from the dimension tables are flowing down to your fact sales. So that's what we can see, the down arrow here. Look here also. But whereas if you want to filter it in the other table, right, opposite direction, then you need to enable bidirectional relationship. Just double click on it. You can see here the cross filter direction is both. Let's say if I make it single, what happens? So this table will filter only this table, but product table will not be able to filter category table. That is what the meaning for it. So if I go back to my report canvas, and if I go and select coffee or tea, when I select coffee, let us see if the product table is filtering back the category table. It will not. Look here, it is not doing the filtering. All the categories are displaying as it is. When I click on coffee or tea, it should filter this table and show only the relevant category here. So these two products, for example, I am going to select tea also. I'm going to tea also in addition to the coffee. Coffee and tea, these two falls under beverages category. It should display only the beverages, but it is not doing it because you are not able to use your product table to filter the category table. You are not able to use your product table to filter category. That is because the data is flowing only one direction. You are not be able to, that is the reason why you are not able to filter this table. You cannot use product table to filter the category dimension. If you want to go in the opposite direction, this one should be bidirectional, right? The arrow should be pointing on this left side, and it should be pointing on the right side also. Only then you should be able to filter it back. You understood what is cross filter direction both? It is not doing it because the direction is unidirection. It is you can use a category table. If you select any value in the category slicer, it will display the relevant product because the direction is like this, right? It can filter this one. It cannot filter the opposite direction. So what you need to do is you need to double click on it, go and select the property both under cross filter direction, click on OK. It will take for a while. You need to have a lot of patience. Until you find this working on it, you have to wait and go back to the thing here. Look here. So coffee and tea, I selected it. Relevant to coffee and tea product is beverages. Only this one got. Now we are able to use the product table to filter the category because of the bidirectional relationship. Got it? So this is what called as cascading slicer. If you make a selection as slicer, other slicer should get also filtered. That is what called as a cascading slicer. Okay, I just digressed a while. Look here, I started talking about the visual level filter, types of filters. Okay, first one is visual level filter. You understood? You select whichever visual that you wanted, go to the filter pane and you apply the filter. Okay, and the next one is page level filter. What is page level filter? So we have three options here. Filters on this visual. Okay, filters on this visual. If you want to apply a filter only to a specific visual, you can use this option. If you want to apply the filter, let's say you are selecting 3 categories. Out of the 5 categories, you are selecting only 3 categories. All these 3 categories related data should get updated automatically to all the visuals in this page. That is called your filters on this page. Page level filter. So apply the filter to the entire page here. For example, if I go and select category, okay, if I go and select dairy, dry fruits and frozen foods, all the visual gets affected. Look here, all the visuals are getting changed, right? So look here, beverages and wait. So here beverages, no, filters on this visual. I'm playing with the filters on this visual. Sorry. Okay, let me clear this thing. I just scroll down. I need to use the filters on page. Okay, filters on this field, right? So here what I need, so in this case what you need is you need to drag and drop the columns explicitly here. Okay, filters on this page, what you do is you just drag and drop this column. Okay, so if I select, look here, dairy, dry fruits and frozen foods, these 3 categories related data get updated automatically in all the visuals in this page. This is called, look here, dairy, right? So dairy, and if you scroll down rows and foots, and let me do drill up. So what categories that I selected here, filters on this page, right? So dairy and frozen foods, right? Yeah, look at dairy and frozen foods. If I select dry fruits, this visual got affected, and even this visual will also get affected. All these visuals, that is what called as page level filter. So filters on this page, whatever the filter or whatever the selection that you make it, under this filters on this page will get applied to all the visuals that are part of this page, report page, entire page. Okay, dairy, dry fruits and frozen foods, right? So all these three got filtered here, here. So if you want to apply a filter to specific visual, that is called your visual level filter, and in that case you need to select the visual, whichever visual you wanted. For example, if I want to apply the filter only to this visual, I can select this one. The moment when you click any visual, this one, filters on this visual, will get enabled. By default, this one, you will not find this one. For example, I am going to click on the empty space in this report canvas. If you look at the columns in this, under this filters pane, you can see by default you can see filters on this page, filters on all pages only. You will not find filters on this visual. Only when you select a visual, the filters on this visual property will get enabled. So in my case, I don't want to apply the filter only to this visual. Instead, what I am going to do is filters on this page. Apply this filter to all the visuals in this report page. Yes, that is possible. And if I filters on all pages, supposing I have multiple pages, look here, I am going to copy this visual, Control C, and I clicked on the plus icon, it will create a new page. I use Control V. Okay, I just copy pasted it here. Sorry, not this one. Slicer demo. The same visual, it is there here. Okay, currently we have chosen filters on this page, right? I am going to apply one more filter, beverages, dairy, dry fruits, frozen foods. Look here, all the visuals shows the data related to these four categories: beverages, dairy, dry fruits, frozen foods. Let us go to the next page. The same thing, I selected it there here, right? But it is not doing it for this one. If you hover the cursor here, filters and slices, there are not any filters applied right now. It treats this visual as a different visual because this visual is now available in other page, hence it is not applying the filter. If I want the filter, whatever the filters that whatever the values that I selected to filter it, right, that should be affected to all the other pages, then you need to use this option, filters on all pages. Okay, so in that case, what I am going to do is I am going to click on this clear filter. Most of my students, they get confused with this one. Okay, they don't clear the filter and then they will get stuck and they'll say, right, I'm seeing some odd values here. Okay, make sure that you are clearing the filter, okay, by clicking on the eraser icon, filters on all pages. Next item, filters on all pages, we are going to see it now. So what I am going to do is I am going to put the category column here. Instead of putting it here, so I am going to remove this one also. Okay, So filters on all pages, I just dragged and dropped the category column, and here I am going to use the beverages, dairy and dry fruits, only these three. This filter affects not only this page and the other pages also. Now the values used in these columns are different. So you just hover the cursor here, look here, beverages, dairy or or dry fruits. Look here, that is what we said, right? Beverages, dairy, dry fruits, right? These three got applied to the subsequent other pages also. So hope you understood what is visual level filter and what is page level filter, what is all pages level filter. Next one is the drill through filter. Drill through filter is a little bit different. So what is drill through filter? The drill through filters get passed from one page to another page via a drill through feature. That is what your drill through feature is all about. If you want to jump from one page to another page, you can use drill through feature, right? Drill through filter. For example, you have something called executive summary. Something like you have something called executive summary. In this page, you show all the summary related data. For example, you have the location, right? It shows you the location, sales or quantity, something like, or let me do one thing, right? This is at the high level. And one second, I just click on this one, I remove this one. Let's say in this page you have the summary data. So what at a high level, how much we sold in each category. Fine, okay. So look here, all pages filter got applied to this page also, right? So look here, that's the reason why, look here. So filters on all pages is applied to this page also. So what I am going to do is, I am going to clear this one now. Click on this one, clear filter, and remove this column. Now in the filters pane we don't see anything, and you just collapse it so that you will get sufficient space. This is my first page of my report. When the user, the report user, when they see it, and if they want to see the detailed one, right, in each category, what products we sold, how much quantity we sold, what is the sales for each product we achieved it. If they wanted to see the detailed one, right, so the detail will be available in the next page. Create a separate page. Create a new page. In this page what we do is, or if you want to see the detail level, like location wise, sales performance, all the things, right, in which location and under which category, which product, how much we sold, what is the total detailed information. If you want to see it, right, what you need to do is you need to create a drill through page. So you need to create an additional page, detail page. The detail page will show the detailed information. The executive summary, as the name suggests, it will show only the summary data here. See, sales amount by category. Okay, sales amount by category. If I right click on it here, look here, the drill through option is available. This one got enabled automatically. So what are the steps that are involved to create a drill through report? You need to create a new page, detail page. Here you put the columns that you needed in detail. So I need to know, in the detailed information. Instead of seeing the summary tells me, hey, in this dry fruits I sold this much, in dairy product we sold overall this much, but we wanted to see the detailed data so that we will get to know in which location, in which category, which product are we selling well. I just move this up. right? Instead I'll use the matrix so that you will get the summary value also, right? So if you click on this, you will get the subtotal, grand total, everything, right? So here some problem happened, dry fruits. Why it shows only dry fruits? Filters on this is nothing is there, right? Somewhere I used the sync slicer, that is the problem. Okay, here I selected only the specific thing, right? That's why it shows. I'll show you. See, first step is create a simple visual. There you show only the high level sales, category by sales, okay? And if I wanted to see the dairy sales, right, when I right click on it, the drill through button should be enabled, and it shows, right, the drill through. So jump from this summary page to detail page. Okay, that I create a detail page. I given a meaningful name here. Okay, that's the reason why it shows the detail. To see the detailed information for dairy, you jump to another page, the detail page. Okay, so there you can find the detailed information for this one. That is what it says. If I right click on it, the drill through button is available. The drill through helps me to jump from this page to the detail page. The detail page for the dairy products, it shows me in which city, in which products, under which product we sold. It shows me detailed information, total sales also. Now with this we should be able to make out in Hyderabad we made more sales for almost all the the products that are part of the dairy category. So even if you see here, right, but except Mumbai, in Mumbai we are selling more milk, right? We made more sales under milk product. So this gives you the detailed information. In simple term, the drill through filter is nothing but if you want to jump from your summary to the detail page, this is very much helpful. You cannot put all the detail in a single page. Summary and detail, if you put everything in a single page, you will run out of space. Okay, so in that kind of situations, what we do is we create a summary page and we create a detail page also. Okay, what are the steps that are involved to create a drill through page? The first step is you need to create a new page for the drill through thing. Okay, and give some meaningful name. How do I rename it? Just right click on it, give some rename page, detail. Okay, and in this page, the detail page, you create the matrix visual or something else and put all the columns which gives you the detailed information about each category, right? Location wise and product wise, category wise, what is the total sales, right? This gives me more detailed information. So in the detail page, what after you create the visual, the detailed visual, if you scroll down on the just beneath this drill through, right? So if you keep scroll down, just beneath the drill through, you will find right, you will find some keep all filters. Don't do anything here, simply drag and drop category column. I just dragged and dropped the category column. The moment when I dragged and dropped category column, this button will get enabled, which means, right, so this is your drill through page. You enable the drill through page. When you click on this, it will take you to the the executive summary page, previous page. Okay, executive summary. So you need to hold the control key and click on this one, hence only then it will take you to the summary page. So you have created a drill through for a category column, hence in this visual we are using category column, and right, so the drill through button got enabled. So next we will look at this one. Look here, when I right click on it, can I see the drill through here? Drill through is not there. Why? In this visual I did not use category, right? Because in the detail page, just beneath this drill through, right? Just beneath this drill through, I have dragged and dropped category. If you want to filter the location also, if you want to do a drill through for the location, you can drag and drop the location column also here. For example, if I go to the dim location, I have something called dim location. I can drag and drop that one also. You can drag and drop more than one column also under this drill through. Look here, category, location name. Location name, category, right? All, here all I mentioned. If I go back to the previous page, now if I right click on any one of the location here, you need to select any one of the location. Look here, drill through button got enabled, and drill through, get me the detailed information for this visual. So it will take me here, it will show the information related to Hyderabad, because I selected Hyderabad in the location. In Hyderabad, in each category, product wise, what is the sales? I can see it here. Got it? You can create drill through for more than one visual also. But what are the steps that are involved? I just summarize the steps. The first step is create a summary page. Okay, and then in the summary page, I have created a category visual, category wise, sales by category visual. So visual in the sense, right, that is the column chart visual. Step 2 is create a detail page. In the detail page, just beneath the drill through, drag and drop the columns that you need to drill through. In our case, category. And also I have used drag and drop location. That's all. Step 1, you need to have the summary page, and step 2, you need to create a detail page. In the detail page, just beneath the drill through, you need to drag and drop the columns that you need to do drill through. For the columns that you need to do drill through, that specific, not all the columns, okay? Because in the executive summary page, I have the visuals like location wise, sales performance, and category, right? For this, if you want to get the detailed information, so here I need to put in the detail page, I need to drag and drop the location name. And for category, if you want to get the detailed information, right, I need to drag and drop the category column in the detail page. I just show you. For example, another example, Bangalore. When you select the Bangalore bar and right click on it, you can see the drill through, and so here detail. So why it shows detail? This is where I created a drill through, right? That is the reason why it shows there, drill through. Or if you want to have another page for the location related data, you can create another thing, location, detail, location, performance, right? You can create another page. In that page, you drag and drop the location. Instead of having two columns here itself, you can have the category here in this page, detail page. In another detail page, you create another detail 1. So there you drag and drop location 1. Instead of coming here, it will take you there, okay? But it is not advisable creating multiple pages unnecessarily. Try to keep optimal number of pages, okay? So look here, and also it shows you which value that you selected in the bar chart, right? So column chart, Bangalore, I selected it for all the categories. I did not select anything in the category, hence it shows for all the category in Bangalore location what is the sales, it shows me, okay? So this wraps up this weekend session. So in the next weekend we will continue with some more important topics. I thought of starting the DAX next week because some more topics, advanced topics, important topics are there. So next weekend also we will cover the visualization related topics, okay? And then we will proceed with the DAX. So most likely in next 3 weeks, right, we'll be able to wrap up this training program. And so most likely the end of this June month, we'll come back to you to get your profile and start work on your profile. And we will have interview preparation session, okay, and 1, 2 or 3 interview preparation session, and then we will have mock interviews one-on-one, and then we'll take up your profile with prospective employer across the location. Okay, so hope you understood. You have any questions regarding today's session? The assignment, I will send you the assignment sometime tomorrow. I'll be traveling. Day after tomorrow I'll be sending the assignments. Start work on the assignments, and if I don't receive any response from you all, we will have to dedicate a separate session for that. Okay, so I'll give you the assignments. You need to start work on it during the session. Okay, best thing, you can use 5 days time to start work on the assignments whatever I give, and share the solution to me. I can, whenever I get free time, I will review, and I will give you the solution then and there. Okay, in case of any mistakes also, I can correct it then and there. Any questions? Okay, since you don't have any questions, we will circle back next weekend. Okay, anyhow, there is no rush. Okay, end of the day, you should understand the subject in depth. We are going to cover all the topics. We are not going to leave anything. I'm not going to leave anything. Okay, so that's the whole idea, because in the interview they can ask you questions anywhere. Anyhow, don't worry. So we will have a separate sessions for preparatory session, interview preparation. All right, prepare very well. Keep reviewed whatever I am training you. The file name is XDemo Slicer. All the other files also, I will share you the link wherein you can file all the report files. You can download it and start practice it. Okay, so for whatever I trained you, that one itself, if you practice it, that is more than sufficient. In addition, I will share you the assignments sometime tomorrow.